So this question will be just around straightforward questions about the challenge and the risks that might be faced in the launch and implementations of Orange bonds, especially in emerging markets such as Indonesia.
Yeah, so I think one of the key challenges that we find is a lot of times, a lot of all these innovative structures are kind of structured from like people who are not actually working on the ground. So I think that's the key difference of what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that who is the one to determine is the capital going to the right place, unless you actually ask the stakeholders.
Did anyone really ask that question?
We do.
I mean the investors.
Yeah,
also.
you know, so I think that's why the bond in itself is an award-winning one that's across for all the issuance that we've done. We just won a few more awards, and all this is because we really have that whole transparent thing where we make sure that the voices of the stakeholders are actually being heard. We ask the question, we provide the impact report, and we drive the impact to it. Like if, let's say, the capital is actually going to the small-scale farmer, we have one of the enterprise we work with is like literally in Aceh and all these like less developed countries and less developed areas in Indonesia in a way. We make sure that we actually ask the small-scale farmer, are you really feeling the impact of the capital that's actually reaching you? So the questions are very transparent, and we want to eliminate the part that people are like the impact are just being washed out and nobody is really knowing what's happening.
Okay. What are the long-term prospects of Orange bonds in supporting sustainable development goals and at the same time improving community welfare, and what roles are expected from the private and public sectors to get involved?
Yeah, so I think the unique part about the Orange bond is I think the way the structure is being managed, I think is three things that makes the difference in the way the Orange bond are being structured. One is the way the whole structure is done, because it's an innovative structure where we are trying to do blended finance at the same time. The second part is the bond is actually guaranteed by governments, right? So we have the Swedish Development Agency who steps in, and we also have the US DFC who step in to actually guarantee. So this actually helps to protect the capital for the investors, to make sure that private sector investors are actually willing to come in. Because we cannot just expect this to be pure sovereign or anything like that. We want the whole Orange ecosystem to step in. So this is the second part of it. And the third part of it, I think what makes the bond really different is because of that transparency. You know, we focus so much on the impact. We want to make sure that the end results is actually reaching the right people and not just we only see at the level where the markets is and like all this.
Right.
Yeah.
I really want to hear the real case stories from you. I mean, you mentioned a lot about transparency and impact. So I just want to know, do you have any real success stories from this Orange bonds really impacting lives of people that have been distributed and get this funds? I mean, these women from Indonesia, let's say from these rural areas, and having this financed by this Orange bonds and impacting lives of their family. I just want to hear the real stories.
I think I think it is quite clear. I mean, I think in Indonesia especially, like I was saying, that out of the 5 bonds that we have brought in almost 30 million into the market right now. So many of them are actually smaller enterprises. These smaller enterprises are typically not companies that, not the usual banks will actually loan to. But because we are able to have an innovative structure where we can structure in a way, we are actually comfortable and making sure that the risk, return and impact is all tied together, that it's actually going to the right place. If you think about it, I still remember we have so many good stories about Indonesia companies. Like some of it are in micro SME lending. So we got to make sure that the small mom and pop shop actually can get the financing they need. So when we actually distribute the capital to some of these companies that we work with, we actually put in impact numbers that they need to reach. We need to make sure that they actually can end up talking to the women, and we want to make sure that the capital actually reach a majority of women. And the companies in itself, if they are also, I want to bring it back to the gender agenda, because it's Orange after all. For sure. I think a lot of times we have seen how women forms a majority part of the workforce, but sometimes they're just not heard. But we have also seen a lot of successful companies being run by women that's actually driving a lot of impact, because they're more sustainable. They actually they take care of what is happening in their own immediate circle and beyond and all this. And a lot of times a lot more sustainable compared to the men, like the men's run organization. So we focus very much on that, and we give a bigger a weightage, I guess, like to a lot of the women that are like running it, and we have seen how they have actually make sure that they take care of all their stakeholders, down to the individual employees and making sure that they are making more than fair wages and all this. So the whole IIX Values, which is our impact measurement platform, actually literally have an automated way that we can like ask the end users whether you actually do that.
That's
so they get
nice.
They get a simple SMS in their local language, in Bahasa, if you're working with an Indonesia company, and literally they get to kind of confirm that yes, I feel like my income has increased by 20% after getting the funding from this capital and all this.
That's wonderful.
So it is really, really interesting. I mean, for me, it's very, very empowering for women to kind of hear that, and also to know that we're giving them a voice and we're pitching them as a solution to a lot of the SDG issues.
That's really wonderful.
And you know, and rather than just leaving it to someone sitting in a capital markets on Wall Street to kind of just decide what to do. You know?
I know, right?
Yeah.